conjunction with the EDMI 40th anniversary, this is a very meaningful moment, especially with great opportunity for me to meet both the founders, John and Neil. I would like to take this opportunity to really, speak with the founders, and I would definitely feel that this is a great moment for us to dig into the root of EDMI, learning more about the history, about the great moment, that both Neil and John could share with us and share with the employees. So let's get back to 40 years ago. All right, that's where the moment starts. What inspired you to start EDMQ then in 1978?
I started quite young at the Southern Electric Authority as a radio apprentice, and there I learned two-way radios, but went on to doing a lot of electronics control systems and computer systems within the electrical industry. And that's where I met Neil Gibson, who can tell you his bit.
As a junior engineer who thought he knew everything but really didn't know much at all, and I think we sort of learnt off each other, and we developed a friendship, and it's a work combination that perhaps saw us through the later years. We had a friend from who asked us to design some controllers. I went to John and said, do you think we can do this? And we decided we were going to design these controllers. But we started from scratch. We had nothing, and so that was the first job that we ever did. Basically, it sort of built up from there, and we finally decided to start the company. We always sort of hoped there'd be more work come in, and generally there was. And we did everything ourselves. We etched the boards, we did the photography, we designed the circuits, and
drilled the holes in the boards.
Yeah, that's right. We did everything.
Very hands-on.
Yeah, no, we did everything from scratch.
We even had our wives helping us assemble the boards. I think Neil's wife probably helped out more in office work and things like that.
Yeah.
That was very, very interesting.
And basically, we're a jobbing shop for design electronics. If somebody needed something, then we made it for them. We used to make controllers for switching neons and chasers, etc. Because somebody came in and asked for them, and we designed them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got the idea that to make a big display using neons, but each neon tube required a huge transformer, which was 30 kV, and it was horrible to switch each tube. But we changed that and changed the pressure on the tubes so that they could be fired. Each tube could be fired and turned off. So we had this big 16-segment display, which is probably about 1,500 high. Nobody'd seen anything like this before.
And that was all electronic control, no mechanical controls at all on that.
But where that led, we never ever made those commercially, but Claude Neon, who were a major sign company who did most of the neon in Australia, come around, and they was just so impressed with this, with our technology, that they just said, we knew more about that than anybody they knew, and they've been in the industry for 40 years, So when they went away, they got into problems later with the Commonwealth Games scoreboard, and they came to see us, and that was their first really major prestigious job, which we could then point to and say we did that,
Yeah, certainly that's very mission critical from Commonwealth Game perspective.
It came from us doing this 16-segment display, and then the customer was so impressed he gave us the job.
There's only 4 of us. As we got started on it,
I could see that the collaboration between a software and a hardware person is coming to fruition. This is really something great, right combination with the right objective and interest in mind.
Well, I think we had different personalities too, and they worked for the two of us.
They're complementary, and Neil fills in for all my mistakes, and I try to pick up where he makes mistakes, and works well.
In the earlier days, could you share with us some of the principle and value that you have defined in EDMI?
A lot of the time, it was basic survival. But we were interested in what we did, and we're always and we tackled each job. We were just very interested in design work, and you know, each job that came in was different, and we liked that.
And both of us would lose sleep if things didn't work properly,
Yep.
and we're insistent that it worked properly, and I think that perseverance helped us. But
So that's one of the key values, I guess.
it
intrinsically built into both of you.
yes.
But I can remember at that time, and I've never forgotten this, that I was talking to a customer in one of these cubicles, and he said to me, he said, "Can EDMI do such and such?" And from about 2 cubicles away, one of the young engineers says, "EDMI can do anything." and that, I've never forgotten that, because that was the attitude of
The confidence is
the
good,
young engineers. And
yeah.
they were you know, super confident, and
Yeah, yeah.
and they worked long hours when we had a big job, and it was, you know, they were a credit to the profession.
Yeah,
Mm.
I guess on top of that, the innovation part is very, very key. Both of you were very innovative, basing on the products and key projects that has been taken. So I guess it's part of the DNA.
It is, and it's interesting about being innovative. Neil and I can start talking about something, and I might say, so let's do it, and then Neil will carry on. It's almost as
Yeah.
though we're synchronised in
Yeah.
our thinking, and you end up going down a path which has been tuned by both our thoughts.
Could you tell us, how did you steer very much into specializing in the smart metering in the 90s?
We designed a consumer monitor for the Sydney Electricity. It's a central thing that monitored what all the appliances were doing in a house, and they used to put these in sample houses so they could get some idea of do consumer surveys. But the heart of that was a metering was the metering algorithm we used, which is basically, I think it's exactly the one you're using now, and it was really a pretty brilliant jump forward in terms of what it actually did. So where in this little box, and it's only measuring symbols, not very accurate, but the engineer David from Victoria saw this and sort of realised that we had the technology to build this meter that he wanted, and then I think we built on that technology. Basically, there was all in that consumer monitor was the actual measurement technology that they used.
And he wanted a difficult job because he wanted a meter that had external CTs, ones that are out in the substation panels,
which is nearly impossible.
It brings in enormous difficulties.
Yeah.
But we achieved it, and that was our Mark 1 meter.
So out of so many projects and innovation that you have, what, in your opinion, what are the biggest achievements of EDMI in your era?
I think the Mark III meter really was. It encompassed all the best of our technology, and again, it was streets ahead of anything that you could buy anywhere.
The Mark III is the first meter with a big dynamic range of accuracy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sure when you have the Mark III going, and everyone should be very excited about it. And what was your vision then that you see EDMI evolving into?
We thought we would grow rapidly, but what happened, we saturated the Australian market, and we thought, now what? Because it's not a big market for those meters. Power stations, substations, that's it. And that's when we started trying to get the business overseas.
So perhaps we have come to the end of it. Would you like to share any message to our employees?
Being passionate is what counts.
Well, I always think it was Goethe, the saying or something. If you can dream something, begin to do it now. You can't just sit there thinking about it. So everything starts to come together with what you're doing because you have this focus on where you're actually going.
And sometimes we learn by our mistakes.
Yeah.
And which means it's all right to make mistakes, so long as you learn by them.
Absolutely. Just have to learn from it. Yeah, and never repeat that. Okay, thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
And Neil. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.